Have you ever wondered why so many people over 60 suddenly say their energy disappears, their memory feels slower, or their joints start to ache almost as if it happened overnight? What most seniors don't realize is that Japanese doctors have discovered a daily eating habit that quietly protects people from these exact issues, and it has nothing to do with supplements, expensive treatments, or trendy miracle diets. In fact, one long-term study found that seniors who included the surprising category of foods every single day were up to 45% more likely to live past 95 while staying active, sharp, and independent longer than people their age. And in the next few minutes, you're going to learn exactly what they ate, why it works, how to do it safely at home, and the 5 daily mistakes that silently age the body faster than time itself. Before we start, I want to speak directly to you. Whether you're 50, 60, 70, or caring for a parent or partner, you deserve clarity, confidence, and simple steps that genuinely help you feel better. No scare tactics, no complicated science, just real, proven strategies that senior physicians in Japan have used for decades to keep their patients thriving well into their 90s and beyond. And yes, you'll definitely recognize some of these foods, but the real secret is how and when you eat them. Now, here's something most people over 50 never hear. Aging is not caused only by time. It's caused by daily micro damage happening inside the cells, tiny bits of inflammation, blood sugar spikes, and oxidative stress that build up slowly. Japanese longevity doctors discovered that certain foods act like cellular shields. They don't just prevent damage, they literally repair it. And here's the twist, these aren't fancy superfoods. They're simple, humble foods eaten in small amounts every day. But before I reveal them, you need to know the hidden reasons so many seniors struggle with fatigue, brain fog, and slow digestion. It all starts with your mitochondria, the tiny engines inside your cells. After age 50, these engines naturally weaken, which means less energy, slower healing, and more stiffness and soreness. But here's the part most seniors don't know. Research shows that specific amino acids, fermented nutrients, and plant-based fibers can wake up these mitochondria, almost like giving your cells a morning cup of tea. If you've ever felt like your body isn't keeping up with your mind, this is likely why. And the Japanese diet is perfectly designed to repair these tiny engines. Before we dive into the foods, I want to address a common misconception. Many seniors think the key to longevity is eating less or cutting things out. But Japanese doctors found something different. The secret is not starvation, it's nourishment. Longevity is built by adding the right foods, not removing everything you enjoy. And many of the healthiest centenarians in Okinawa, Nagano, and Shikoku enjoy flavorful meals, warm broths, and satisfying textures every day. It's not about restriction, it's about balance, recovery, and daily consistency. All right, let's go into the first major problem seniors face, because understanding this makes the solution even more powerful. The number one hidden issue that accelerates aging is something called silent inflammation. It doesn't cause pain at first, it doesn't show up on your face, but over time, it affects your heart health, your joints, your metabolism, your mood, and even your sleep. And one of the reasons Japanese elders have some of the world's lowest levels of this inflammation is because they eat foods that naturally calm it without medications. But here's where most seniors in Western countries make a mistake. They eat meals that are too high in processed fats, too low in natural fiber, and too fast to digest. This leads to blood sugar swings, digestive slowdown, and that afternoon crash many people think is just aging. It's not, it's a fixable problem, and the fix starts with the first group of Japanese daily foods. I promised you concrete, actionable steps, so here's the first one. Every single day, long-living Japanese seniors ate a source of fermented nutrition, things like natto, miso, pickled vegetables, or even simple yogurt alternatives. And why does this matter? Because fermented foods feed your gut microbiome, the tiny world inside your intestines that controls inflammation, immunity, digestion, nutrient absorption, even mental clarity. When your microbiome weakens with age, your whole system slows down. When you support it, everything else improves. One Japanese doctor said, if you protect the gut, you protect the person. But wait, most seniors think probiotics come only from supplements. The truth is, supplements can help, but daily fermented foods work better because they contain enzymes, fibers, and natural prebiotics that help the beneficial bacteria survive longer. If you've been struggling with bloating, constipation, or slow metabolism, this single habit may be a game changer. Now let's create a little curiosity loop because this next discovery surprised even researchers. The Japanese longevity diet also includes a category of foods many Western doctors almost never recommend for seniors, foods rich in natural plant compounds that trigger something called cellular cleanup. This cleanup process removes damaged cells before they cause problems, and these foods include mushrooms, sea vegetables, certain beans, and dark leafy plants. What's wild is that studies show seniors who ate mushrooms only a few times a week had significantly lower risks of cognitive decline. But the real secret is not the mushrooms themselves, it's how they interact with the fermented foods we just talked about. When paired together, the nutrients multiply in effectiveness. Let's pause for a moment. You might be thinking, this sounds great, but how do I actually apply it without feeling overwhelmed? That's exactly where we're going next, because the Japanese doctors created a simple rule for their elderly patients. 3 small additions a day, not 3 big meals. Not 3 complicated recipes, 3 additions. A spoon of miso, a handful of greens, a small serving of beans or legumes. That's it. And if you're thinking beans are heavy, here's a fascinating piece of information. Japanese beans like adzuki and soybeans are small, easy to digest, and gentler on the stomach than many Western varieties. But the story gets even better. One of the most common issues seniors suffer from is joint discomfort, knees, hips, shoulders, lower back. Many assume it's permanent. But Japanese physicians noticed something interesting. Patients who regularly consumed omega-rich foods like sardines, mackerel, or tofu experience smoother movement and less morning stiffness. And if you dislike fish, don't worry. You'll learn plant-based alternatives in the next part that offer similar benefits. Before we wrap up this first part, I want to ask you a question that creates the next curiosity loop. If these foods are so simple, why don't more seniors eat them? Because most people don't know the correct timing, and the timing is what affects blood sugar stability, heart health, and cellular repair. In part 2, you're going to learn exactly how Japanese doctors structure the day, morning, afternoon, and evening to maximize longevity benefits without dieting, restricting, or counting anything. You'll also learn the 3 foods seniors think are healthy but may actually contribute to fatigue and weight gain after age 50. And before we move on, just imagine what could change in your life if you had more energy, clearer thinking, steadier digestion, and better sleep, all from adding simple daily foods. This is not about perfection, it's about gentle, consistent nourishment. So now that you understand why Japanese longevity doctors focus on these daily additions, let's go deeper into how they recommend seniors actually use food throughout the day to support stable energy, healthier aging, better digestion, and sharper cognitive function. Because here's the truth, it's not only what you eat, it's when and how your body receives those nutrients. And this next insight is something most people over 50 have never been told by their doctors, but it can change how you feel within days. Let's begin with the morning. Japanese elder care physicians emphasize that the first meal of the day sets the metabolic tone for the next 10 to 12 hours. The biggest mistake seniors unknowingly make is starting their mornings with fast digesting foods, white bread, sugary cereals, pastries, fruit juice, and even certain healthy breakfast drinks. These create a quick spike in blood sugar, followed by a rapid crash. That crash is what causes mid-morning fatigue, irritability, carb cravings, and that feeling of slowing down. But Japanese centenarians start their mornings differently. They use something called a slow-release breakfast. This doesn't mean eating heavy foods. It means choosing a combination of fiber, protein, and gentle fermented nutrients that signal the body to release energy gradually rather than all at once. For example, a small bowl of warm miso soup, a handful of greens, a bit of tofu or an egg, and maybe a slice of whole grain or sweet potato. This combination feeds the gut, supports muscle strength, and stabilizes your metabolism for hours. Even if you don't like miso, you can create a simple version with yogurt alternatives, oats, nuts, or lightly cooked vegetables. What matters is the principal fiber, protein, fermented nutrition. Many seniors report clearer thinking and much better digestion within days of switching their breakfast structure. Now, let's move into the cause and effect loop that creates so many midday problems for people above 50. After lunch, many seniors feel a wave of tiredness. Most assume it's aging, but Japanese doctors explain it differently. It's a timing mismatch between your microbiome and your metabolism. The gut begins its most active digestion phase during midday. If you overload it with processed fats, heavy meats, or refined carbs, your system diverts energy from your brain and muscles to your stomach. That's why concentration drops, mood swings increase, and physical activity becomes harder. But there's an easy fix inspired by Japanese lunch traditions. They focus on light but nutrient-dense midday meals, vegetables, mushrooms, soups, beans, small amounts of fish or tofu, and plenty of hydration. And here's a curiosity point. Seniors in Okinawa often eat purple sweet potatoes at lunch. Why? Because they are rich in antioxidants that support heart health and maintain steady energy. It's a food that protects cells from oxidative stress, one of the major drivers of aging. But one of the most interesting discoveries is this: Japanese longevity doctors recommend eating your most nutrient-dense foods earlier in the day, not at dinner. Why? Because after sunset, your metabolism naturally slows, your digestion becomes less efficient, and your body wants to repair instead of process. That leads us to the next mistake many seniors make without realizing it: eating large, heavy dinners, especially late in the evening. This habit forces your body to digest instead of heal. But Japanese elders typically eat small, simple dinners, often vegetable-based broths, small portions of fish or tofu, and fermented vegetables. Keeping dinner light allows your mitochondria to perform overnight repair. This is one of the reasons Japanese seniors sleep better and wake up feeling more refreshed. If you've ever noticed heavier meals causing poor sleep, acid reflux, or morning grogginess, this explains why. Now, here's a micro curiosity loop for you. One of the most powerful Japanese longevity foods isn't eaten for taste. It's eaten for a very specific biological effect. And you'll hear about it in a moment because it directly supports brain health in seniors. Before we reveal it, let's address one of the most common concerns: people over 50 have muscle loss. After age 50, most adults lose about 1% of muscle per year, and after 60, the rate accelerates. This leads to weakness, instability, slower metabolism, and a higher fall risk. But Japanese doctors counter this with two simple strategies. First, they increase plant-based protein sources like soy, lentils, tofu, tempeh, and small servings of fish. Second, they often recommend small protein anchors in each meal. A protein anchor is simply a small source of protein eaten at the beginning of a meal to improve satiety, stabilize blood sugar, and support muscle preservation. You don't need large portions, just enough to activate your body's muscle-building pathways. Now let's talk about brain health, because this is where Japan shines. Japanese elders have significantly lower rates of cognitive decline compared to many Western countries. Why? One of the biggest reasons is their daily consumption of polyphenol-rich foods, especially mushrooms, green tea, sea vegetables, and antioxidant-rich vegetables. These compounds reduce oxidative stress in the brain, support healthy circulation, and protect memory. But the real secret is a traditional Japanese brain supporting food, small amounts of seaweed. Sea vegetables like wakame, kombu, and nori contain minerals like iodine, magnesium, and natural antioxidants that support thyroid health, nerve function, and mental clarity. Even small servings once or twice a week can be beneficial. You don't need to eat seaweed sheets. Adding a sprinkle of dried seaweed to soups or salads is enough. This one food group has been quietly linked to the impressive longevity records in Japan for decades. Let's introduce another curiosity loop, because this next insight surprises almost everyone. There are 3 foods seniors commonly believe are healthy, but can actually accelerate weight gain, inflammation, and digestive issues when eaten in excess. The first is fruit juice because it removes fiber and delivers sugar too quickly. The second is low-fat processed foods since they often contain hidden additives that slow metabolism. And the third is instant whole grain products, which digest much faster than traditional grains and cause higher glycemic spikes. Japanese elders rarely consume these foods. Instead, they choose whole fruits, traditional grains, and naturally fermented alternatives that are easier on the gut. Now let's move into the 5 high-value, actionable solutions Japanese doctors recommend for senior health. These solutions aren't complicated. They're designed to be simple enough to do daily without stress. Solution 1, add 1 fermented food per day. This could be miso soup, yogurt alternatives, natto, kimchi, or pickled vegetables. This supports digestion, reduces inflammation, and strengthens the immune system. Solution 20, include 1 serving of plant-based protein daily. This helps preserve muscle, supports stable blood sugar, and maintains metabolic health. Tofu, lentils, chickpeas, beans, and tempeh are excellent options. Solution 30, add mushrooms at least twice per week. They support brain health, immunity, and cellular protection. Solution 14, use sea vegetables in small amounts weekly. This supports mineral balance, thyroid function, and cognitive clarity. Solution 50, eat lightly at night. Let your body repair instead of digest. These solutions are supported by the core principles of Japanese longevity research and offer benefits for heart health, digestive health, and aging gracefully.